Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today we are going to do this kind of mandala wedge brush practice piece, and the reason I'm going to do this for Sketchbook Sunday is because I did that in my sketchbook a couple months ago and people asked me if I would do a video on it. I'm using a number 8 Best triangle brush, and if you look at the ferrule you can see that instead of it being round or flat, it's actually in a triangle shape, and the bristles are tapered so that you have the tip of the brush is longer, and then it kind of like is cropped at an angle so that the back or the heel of the brush is a little bit more is shorter, so you get a very unusually shaped brush that can be a little tricky to work with. So this brush takes practice. I did so much practice. I thought all my brushes were bad when I first got them because it was really difficult to get that seemingly effortless little petal shape. So what you want to do is basically do a little glide, press down with the brush, glide, and then lift, and that gives you that perfect little petal shape. It's very easy to want to do a comma stroke with this brush and then you end up with a very asymmetrical petal, which is pretty too, but what you want to go for is kind of like a rounded diamond shape, and by making those shapes over and over again you are going to get a really good handle on this brush. So you may think, boy, this is boring, Lindsay. Why are you just making that shape? But it's to develop the brush control. It's kind of like singing your scales or playing your scales if you play the piano. So what I'm going to do here is load up my brush with some orange. I'm going right into my cakes of color, and this is my mishmash a Pike palette that has a bunch of different artist quality paints in it, and I'm actually getting the tip of the brush in the red. I apologize that I did not hold that in front of the camera very well, but I want to have 2 colors on my brush just to make it a little more interesting. Now the nice thing about a brush that has a tapered bristles like that, so you've got some bristles that are short and some are long, is that you can double load them very easily. So I can get orange on the body of the brush and have the tip in the red and just have a slightly two-tone petal. So I'm going to go through and put petals in between the other petals that I just made. Now I'm going to speed up the footage so you can see how I made this kind of, I don't know if you want to call it a mandala or just a honking big flower or just a kind of graphic pattern, but anyway, that's what I'm doing here. I find stuff like this to be very meditative and relaxing and just a lot of fun to do. The colors I'm using for this row was yellow, the tip dipped in a little bit of yellow, dipped in orange. Now I'm using yellow dipped in a little bit of green to get those two-tone petals. You can of course do this with a single color, and that's just fine. Now every once in a while you're going to see a petal with a very weird, blunt, awkward tip. That's just because I didn't lift quick enough. I dragged on the lift. What you want to do is just kind of glide it to, for me, I'm right-handed, so I am gliding to the left and lifting to the right, and that gives me that nice diamond with the point. But you're going to see some really awkward looking ones that are not perfect, that are not absolutely the same, and that's a practice. This is a practice piece. I haven't been using my wedge brush very much. I think the last time I used it a lot was when I was at the lake for a week and I was just kind of like playing in my sketchbook, and you will get out of practice. So this is a great piece to get used to any sort of brush. Now say you don't have a wedge brush, but you want to do something similar. You could use your flat or angle brush, and you could simply do diagonal dashes, and that would give you a nice diamond shape. So you would just set your brush down the angle, you would press, pull, lift, and that would give you those little diagonal dashes. You could do something very similar with a round brush. You'd end up with little kind of rounded petals that went thick, wide, thin. All you would do is go on the tip, press your brush, lift it up with a very slight pull in there. Practice with whatever brushes you have doing like a flower or mandala like this, and you'll really develop some good brush control. I find that with the round and the flat brush, it's like muscle memory and you won't forget it once you learn it. The wedge brush, I feel like it takes me a little bit to get my bearings with this brush because it is a little weird, and if you get your brush and you feel like, oh, I got a bad brush, I need a different one. I actually ordered a few different brushes, and I was like, well, golly, every single brush I ordered was bad. No, I just needed to practice. So don't get frustrated if you don't get the results you want right off the bat. This does have a little learning curve to it, and I know it can be very tempting to see, the speed painters on Instagram doing these gorgeous florals with a wedge brush, and it just looks so effortless. It's like figure skating, guys. It is not. It takes a little practice. So enjoy the practice, enjoy the fun, and I hope you try a wedge brush, or you try whatever brush you have and do something similar, because because it's only going to help you develop a better understanding of your materials. So today's motivation is practice. Get out your paints, get out a brush, and just have fun. Paint on old newspaper if that's all you have or that's all you are willing to waste, and just have a good time with it. Thank you so much for watching. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video and you enjoy Sketchbook Sunday. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, happy crafting.